Today's video is an attempt to clarify Kevin Samuels' assertions about the danger zone. He says that a woman is in the danger zone if she is between the ages of 27 to 35 and single, because a black woman is in danger of never being married if she's not married by age 35.
At 27, ladies, you have to start doing things different. That means, like I told you, ladies, you're going to have to put the same kind of effort, attention, and focus into getting a man and keeping a man as you did into getting that damn degree in your career. Because you only have arguably 8 years. 27 to 35. After 35, unless you are an 8, 9, unless you are an 8 or 9, you are out of the game.
At age 35, he says black women enter into no man's land and they should just get a dog and prepare to die alone. Kevin proclaims that his assertions are based on facts, data, and statistics, and he often recites data from blackdemographics.com, where he says the data shows that there are 2 million more black women than black men. So he concludes that if a black woman is not married by age 27 due to the demographic disparity, she will more than likely never get married. Now, some of what Kevin says is true, but when it comes to the danger zone, he is reading the data wrong. The truth is the danger zone is not as dangerous as most people who watch Kevin Samuels might think, right? In fact, it is the ideal place to be for both men and women who are ready to be married. So let's talk about it. Research by scientists at the Academy of Medical Sciences in Oxford, London, revealed that our brains don't reach adulthood until around age 30. Until we reach age 30, the average person is a marriage and relationship liability because they still have childlike and selfish ways of thinking. That is why we see so many young ladies below the age of 30 who call into Kevin Samuels' show appear to be selfish, self-centered, and immature.
I feel so sorry for so many of our young sisters because you all want this inflated lifestyle. What this shows more than anything else is men and women that focus so much on who they are. And the world has let you guys do this on what you want, to where you've had to focus nothing on who the men actually are, what the men actually want.
He likes to harp on the fact that the young woman is not thinking about what the man's wants and needs might be, but rather she is just thinking about what she wants. Yeah, duh. That's because most people under 30 who would spend hours listening to Kevin's show are immature. The ones who call in that are over 30 are suffering from arrested development because their thoughts and ways are still childish. Now, I used to say that a man is not worth the gunpowder and lead that it would take to take him out, right, until he's 30. But that's because the average young man has not reached the level of maturity where he has become selfless enough to love and take care of a family. 1 Corinthians 13:11 says, when I was a child, I spake as a child, and I understood as a child, and I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. See, an adult male does not become a man until he learns to put away childish things, brothers, like video games and Jordans, all right? And contrary to popular belief, marriage is for mature adults, not kids. Marriage is grown folks' business, and kids should stay out of grown folks' business. So between the ages of 27 and 35, depending on your level of maturity, is the ideal time to get married. It's actually the ideal zone, not the danger zone, because it's also the age where there is black male and female demographic parity. Okay, you have a bigger pool of people to choose from. So look at this chart from blackdemographics.com, and if you look at it closely, you'll see why I say that Kevin is reading this data wrong. Look at the top of the chart where it says black population total. 20 million males and 22 million females, right? That is where Kevin gets the 2 million more black women than black men statistic from. However, Kevin doesn't seem to know that 42.5 million people turn 18 in America every year. And notice on the chart that between the ages of 18 and 34, there's demographic parity. 50% male and 50% female, right? Now, if you're going to find someone to marry between the ages of 18 and 34, that's the ideal time to do it. And notice that between the ages of 35 and 64 is where we begin to see demographic disparity, in that there are 6% more women than men. But there is still a lot of opportunity to find someone good to marry after 35. So it is not true that age 35 to 60 is no man's land for single black women, right? Now, the chart shows us that black women are most likely to enter no man's land around age 65 and over because we see there's a 20% disparity. And this chart also tells us that 2 million more black women than men does not kick in until after age 60. And why? Because women live longer than men, and a lot of black men have died by that time. Jesus said, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word or every truth be established. So if we look at this chart from the Pew Research Center, we see the same thing, okay? There is demographic parity between the ages of 15 and 65. And in fact, in the age category of 25 to 29, there's slightly more black men than women. And this tells us that age 27 to 29 for black women is not the danger zone. It is the ideal catch a bro zone. Then on the Census Bureau chart, we see yet again that there is demographic parity with black women being just 1% more in population than black men. That is between the ages of 18 and 64. And all of this data taken in total tells us the truth that it's not true that the age 27 to 35 is the danger zone for black women. It is not true that black women fall into the category of no man's land after age 35. The data shows us that this does not happen until around age 64 when there are 2 million more black women than black men. Now, ladies, your hypergamy and desire to live a life of luxury is not a bad thing. In fact, God made you that way to give you the drive necessary to help your husband make your family wealthy. The only problem is you ladies have come to the conclusion that you deserve to have a man who is already wealthy to marry you. But you got it backwards, all right? You are supposed to choose from the men who want to marry you, the one who will let you help him create the life of luxury that you want. You were born with the power inside of you to make that happen, all right? Now, there were times during the 60s and 70s where black women would choose to marry a man that had potential because they knew that they could build a boo. See, they knew that they had the ability to help a brother become the man that he wanted to be and to help him generate wealth for their family.
Overtown was a viable community in which people had common causes and related to each other. There was economic development, businesses, furniture stores, clothing stores, a soda water bottling company. The professionals, doctors, lawyers, other professionals were there. Youngsters were considered youngsters of the community, so that everyone felt some responsibility for youngsters.
You know, everybody was like family. There was so much togetherness, so much, everything there was like close-knit.
And that's why those 60s and 70s families could own their own homes, their own cars, they could take vacations, and could send 4 kids to college. Black men and women worked together to build wealth as a family back in those days. Now, if you live anywhere near the Dallas-Fort Worth area, beginning April 5th, 2022, I'll be teaching a seminar titled Money Does Grow on Trees, It Grows on the Family Tree. And I'll be showing you how black couples of modest financial means can create generational wealth for their families. And since 1978, I've made hundreds of men millionaires by using this process. So scan the QR code and register today. And if you don't take this opportunity to invest in yourself and your family's financial future, don't complain about how some mythical white man is stopping you from getting what you want. The truth is, you are stopping yourself. Anyway, ladies, there are a lot of good men out here who work every day and who make decent money. And this chart shows you that in 2018, the average black man who was working full time made just over $41,000. Now, it's in a woman's hypergamous nature to try to get one of the guys who, 33% of guys who made $50,000 or more. However, if you ladies learn how to use the power that God placed inside of you when you were born to help your husband make your family wealthy, you can make that $41,000 grow exponentially. Now, gentlemen, you will find it interesting to know that married men get paid more than single men. This chart from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis shows you the wage gap difference by marital status. But you don't really need a chart to tell you this because most of you have seen a real life evidence of this fact, right? You could have 2 men that work at the same place doing the same job, but the married man always seems to have more money than the single man. Even though he appears to have more bills because he owns a home, 2 cars, and has several children, the married man still seems to be wealthier than his single coworker, right? He is indeed wealthier, not just because he receives more pay, but because he has a wife who is using her power to cause his money to expand exponentially. Now, in summary, it's not true that the age 27 to 35 is the danger zone for single black women. It is the ideal zone in which to find a man if you want to get married, because there's demographic parity. And if you want to live a life of luxury, sisters, that is the time when you should let somebody teach you how to use the power that God placed inside of you to help your husband generate exponential wealth for your family. All right? Amen. Well, that's all that I have for now. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share this video with your family and friends, and I'll be back with something new that nobody told you. Until then, remember that God loves you, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'll see you next time on Maximizing Fatherhood.